A new map and a new power weapon were just revealed for Splitgate 2. Not long ago, I had a blast playing in a new Splitgate 2 private playtest. They also had game mode changes, map changes, and changes to existing weapons, so I'm gonna break it all down in this video. What's up, Warp Ring? It's Sonic. Today we're talking about the most recent playtest, what's new, and what's been changed. Just a heads up, I can't show footage from this playtest, so all gameplay footage is from the alpha or from the Splitgate YouTube channel. First, let's talk about the newest map, Bypass. This map is by far the biggest so far in Splitgate 2. It's set on Earth and has these pink trees that I'm guessing are Sakura trees. I mean, 1047 might as well use the Place Japan effect, am I right? It has a sort of metro-looking area on one side and a museum on the other. In the museum, you can take this jump pad up to a sniper perch, which I think is really cool. There's also this open lane right down the middle of the map that makes it really easy to portal from the museum area to the metro area and vice versa. This map has a lot more verticality than the three we've seen before, which is a very welcome addition. Overall, it's definitely my favorite map in Splitgate 2, but I noticed that a lot of the time I spawned really far away from any portal surfaces. Even some of these starting spawns were really far away from portal surfaces, which it never feels good to have to spend so much time running around to find one. Next up, there's a new weapon, the Deadbolt. The Deadbolt is a bolt-action sniper that spawns on the map just like a split stream or a foobar. Just like the foobar, it has Nebraska aesthetics, with a splash of orange and a magazine that attaches on the side. Not gonna lie though, it would also be pretty cool to have an arrows-themed sniper called the Beat Drop. The Deadbolt mostly does what you'd expect from a bolt-action sniper. It's a one-shot to the head from, I think, any range, and it takes 2 body shots to kill. It's super satisfying to get kills with. I had the most fun with it once I found myself in harder matches against players I knew. The higher difficulty put me in scenarios where I was forced to take chances with the Deadbolt, and it was super rewarding when it paid off. However, since it has a much slower fire rate than the Splitgate 1 sniper, it made me wonder why a weapon so much weaker than its previous version couldn't just be a loadout weapon. I actually asked the CEO of 1047 about this after the playtest, and he said that they don't really want loadout weapons to insta-kill. I guess the charger is an exception because you have to charge it up. Before we go on to the gameplay changes, I want to briefly mention the new headshot kill sound effect because, oh my gosh. There's now a separate sound effect for when you finish off an enemy with a headshot, and it sounds so good. You'll just have to hear it when you get a chance to play. The only weird thing about it is that it affects assists as well. So when you get an assist, it still chooses which sound to play based on whether the player who finished the kill got a body shot or a headshot. I don't know if that's really intentional or not. Alright, next, let's talk about the game mode changes. First off, Hot Zone no longer has shared zone progression. For those who don't recall, in the alpha, Hot Zone worked kind of like creeps do in MOBAs. For example, in League of Legends, you could do a lot of damage to Baron Nashor, but it's the team that deals the final blow to him that gets the reward. Similarly, Hot Zone progress previously was all about getting that final shred of time. I was interested in how this system might work in competitive organized play and how it might make the game more exciting. Sadly, it was really bad for unorganized play like matchmaking because a lot of players didn't realize that they needed to stay off the point at times. Overall, I think reverting it to how it was in Splitgate 1 is definitely the best decision for the average player. The other mode, Team Deathmatch, has been adjusted to have longer rounds. The score limit per round is now 20, but I'm not sure if the time limit was adjusted. The new round length seems nice, but the whole match is kind of long for a TDM now. My feedback would be to experiment with making TDM a best of 3 rounds. The other change was a round 5 tiebreaker system. Basically, round 5 now has respawns disabled. For Hot Zone, round 5 also becomes first to capture a single zone, and TDM round 5 is just winning by pure elimination. Personally, I'm not a big fan. I think that it would be more engaging to just play a full 5th round most of the time. This is probably partially because I solo queued for the whole playtest, and so sometimes I had to solo carry my team. This occasionally led to round 5s where I find myself in a 1v4 basically instantly. Ultimately, I don't think it's too bad, and I saw a lot of people saying they liked it, but I think it probably shouldn't be a part of competitive modes. On top of mode changes, they also changed the existing maps. All of them have portal surfaces now. Ozone got a couple of new portal floors, which is great for casuals who like to goof around with portals, but the Ozone changes don't really change anything for competitive players, which is probably fine because it was already well connected with portals and stuff, so I think that's fine. Zenith received a portal floor on the outside of the map for launching, along with a far out big portal wall for an exit, as well as a portal floor on bottom mid. However, the more impactful change for me were the portal walls around the street section of the map. There are now portal walls right next to Fame, and there are portal walls near the old split stream spawn that looked towards street. All of these walls greatly improve the routing around that open middle portion of the map. Frontier also received some new portal walls toward the outside of the map. Now there's a big portal wall near the outside jump pad, right behind where the foo bar spawned in the alpha. There are also these big portal cubes on both sides between the team spawns and the entrance to the lower area. Overall, these improved some routing, but I mostly stuck with the inside portion of the map, so I didn't utilize them too much. The last thing I'll mention is that all of the power weapon spawn locations were the same, but now they're randomized at the beginning of a match. So you don't know which power weapons you'll be playing with in a match until you start round 1. I think this is a pretty good change for casual, but I'm sure it will be kept consistent in competitive. Finally, there have also been changes to the 2 existing power weapons, the split stream and the foo bar. First off, 1047 listened to feedback and changed the alt fire system of the split stream. Now, the split stream starts off separated, and zooming in temporarily merges them back together without any animation delay. This is a really nice change because you won't accidentally press your zoom key and split apart your weapon, and it allows you to swap styles on the fly. The one thing I didn't like about this change is that you can no longer use abilities and portals while the split stream is comboed. In the alpha, I really enjoyed running around with the split stream merged and being able to keep my portals and abilities. It would be nice if I could at least still portal with the split stream out if I zoomed in. Next, onto the foo bar, which has had its primary and alt fire swapped. Now, hip fire shoots a 3 rocket burst, and zooming in shoots the rockets one at a time. 1047 CEO explained this change was implemented because players expected a rocket launcher to one-shot by default, while shooting single rocket with the foo bar only one-shots if it's a direct hit. This is probably a good change, but I didn't have time to get used to it during the playtest, so it messed me up a couple times. Those were all the changes I noticed in the recent Splitgate 2 playtest. I really enjoyed almost all of the new fixes and new features, even if some of them had minor drawbacks. Fortunately, 1047 is still actively listening to our feedback. After all, they haven't even really started marketing the game that much, so these playtests are just to make sure the game is as good as it can possibly be. I also appreciate their willingness to try some wacky ideas in these tests, and I think that it gives them the chance to create something unique at launch without being worried about whether or not players will like it. That's all for today's updates on Splitgate 2. Consider leaving a like and subscribing, because I'll be making more videos like these as more is revealed. Once the game is launched, I'll also be making guides for players of all skill levels, so stay tuned for those. That's all for today. Take care, and I'll see you later, Warpring. Oh my gosh, that fries. Oh, okay, there we go.